Today then we shall be talking about the new Doctor Who special, The Power of the Doctor, in which came out at the weekend. So let's get into some of the good things, as this is the 13th Doctor's final episode on Doctor Who and Jodie Whittaker's final adventure yet, and probably her best. So let's get into it. So the special for me then is one of the Doctor's best episodes yet. That is Jodie Whittaker's best Doctor Who episodes, that is. As this signified the end of Jodie Whittaker's era as the Doctor, as we see that her tenure as the Doctor hasn't been successful, has it? And we've seen that a big drop off from the likes of Tennant's era, Eccleston's era, Smith's era, and even Capaldi's eras that were 10 times better than hers. However, this special doesn't actually fit in with the rest of her episodes, as this was fantastic. This was brilliant. This was a breath of fresh air, if you like, from Jodie Whittaker. And big credit goes to Chris Chibnall, who actually wrote a decent script for once in Doctor Who, and actually put together quite a big masterpiece in that retrospect, as it was one of the best specials that I've seen in a long time from Doctor Who, due to the likes of Jodie Whittaker having so many bad episodes recently. And even her specials, some of them have been a bit, know what I mean? I didn't mind the Eve of the Daleks or something, or the Dalek Resolution, but after that it sort of got a bit messy, shall we say, because I wasn't a big fan of the Flux or the piratey one, Sea Devils. And this special I wasn't hyped up for, really. I was sort of just seeing how the new era was going to plan out, and I'm glad I tuned in to watch this, as this was fabulous. This was amazing. And we got to see, obviously, the regeneration at the end, which is obviously the elephant in the room, which we are going to leave right till the very end. But I enjoyed this as quite a change from Jodie Whittaker. She performed excellently in this, even though she was bit part in this special. Sorry, I nearly said movie, as she came in at the start of the episode thinking that she was going to be able to defend Earth like she normally does. However, she soon finds out that she's got to face Cybermen, Daleks, and the Master, in which is a big challenge for any Doctor there's been and gone. And to me, this was her big test, and she came out on top at the end, which we'll get onto a bit later on. So to me, I can't move on from the actual story without mentioning how good Sacha was as the Master. He was brilliant. He had this sort of evil sarcasticness and dark humour about him that John Simm is known for playing the Master as. And to me, the seminal similarities between them two, and to me, if I were to put a ranking of the modern day Masters now, it would be John Simm at the top, Sacha second, and Missy in third, as I enjoyed all three of those Masters. I thought they were all fantastic. However, I think Sacha now brings that similar energy to what John Simm was known for, and helped bring together the elements of the Master, which is evil and dark humour. Put them all together and you get the Master, and that's what Sacha helped bring together. And he helped me, because obviously we've seen him in several other specials before this one, and we've seen how evil he can be and different sides to him, but this was his best episode in my opinion. And Jodie Whittaker was also fantastic on her A game and showed how good of a Doctor she can be. However, I just think her writing hasn't been good enough, and I think that's what's actually let her down. I think she could have actually been a good Doctor, but the writing was not on the level it needed to be, as Chris Chibnall, to me, as a showrunner, is quite poor. But in this instance, you've got to give credit's due, and everyone performed together to create this awesome special, including Chris Chibnall, Jodie Whittaker, and Sacha, in which were just incredible. I also enjoyed how they helped bring back a bit of nostalgia, as we saw the return of the likes of Ace and another companion that I can't remember the name of, in which came back from the classic Doctor Who. And I'm not a big fan of the classic Doctor Who, because obviously I didn't grow up with that era. I grew up with the modern day Doctor Who, with the Christopher Ecclestons, the David Tennants of this world. And that, to me, was kind of cool how they brought companions back from the older Doctor Who. So I weren't familiar with them, but I thought that it was cool to bring them back in for those of the older generation to appeal to. And I also really liked how they brought back some of the classic Doctors like Peter Davidson, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and even Paul McCann. As that was awesome, as it was sort of like a tip of the hat to them, like a bit of a sign of respect, and the nostalgia element, which I always go on about how good it is when nostalgia is put into something that was so generational as in Doctor Who. And that element helped bring the whole special together, with the companions helping out the Doctor, and with the Doctors giving sort of a pep talk to Jodie Whittaker to get back into the shoes of the Doctor, to defeat the Master and to defeat the Daleks and to defeat the Cybermen. I also think the ending was pretty cool as well, and is worth mentioning, as the Doctor came back into her own body, as we see, and I was surprised how the regeneration process actually happened. But I actually expected her then to change immediately after changing back to Jodie Whittaker, and it was just one of those where she'd got all this energy then from reversing it and then going back. However, that wasn't the case, as she instead, after defeating the Daleks, after pouring some hot melting metal on top of the volcanoes and it set and killed the Daleks, that's where the Daleks were, and then the Cybermen was helped to be shut down by the unit base collapsing due to, I think it was one of the companions and the unit boss helping to shut down the unit building and putting it down into a vault, basically, so that the Cybermen all got killed or all got kept underground. And yeah, I personally think that was pretty cool how that happened, and they thought, okay, the Doctor's going to fly off in a TARDIS and probably regenerate some other way. However, no, she was caught in the crossfire, in which caused her to regeneration, as the Master changed something in the energy, so it struck Jodie Whitakers Doctor, and she started to regenerate, obviously, into the new Doctor, and obviously onto the elephant in the room, which is obviously David Tennant, as he came back to Doctor Who after several years of not being on. I think the last time he was on the Day of the Doctor, which was the 50th anniversary, and that was back in 2013, so it was nearly 10 years ago since he was on Doctor Who. Obviously, he's a big fan of Doctor Who, and it was great to see him back. And I fully expected him to return because the rumours were too strong. So yeah, David Tennant was awesome as the Doctor, in my opinion, in this little segment. It's amazing now to see how Ncuti Gatwa fits in and how many specials does David Tennant have. And we've also seen Donna Nobles is coming back, which is Catherine Tate's character, in the next special. So we will see how all this all plays out. And I think it's a pretty exciting time now for Doctor Who. To summarise then, this is one hell of a classic special, and one that I'll probably revisit a few times now, as it was surprisingly one of the better ones in the past, I don't know, 5 or 10 years. So I have rated this an 8.6. Let me know down in the comments down below whether you agree or disagree with anything I've said in this video. Also, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell to be alert to all the new content this channel creates. And I shall see you guys in the next one. Later.